Think you can read the room? There you go. Read the room? I love that. Read the room. This show is about the people who navigate this for a living. I got this. Designers, entrepreneurs, and creative minds who do it all day long. I'm Erin Haskell. Let's read the room. Kasey Dobbins, traveling nurse turned amazing interior designer, general contractor. I felt like in COVID, I saw you renovating a home though. So you were doing both.
I was doing both. So I was travel nursing full time.
Plus you're a mom.
And I had a 1-year-old at the time, 1.5-year-old at the time. And then I was renovating this house on weekends with my dad. So we invested in this home together. We bought it at like a really low point in the market, sold it at a really high point in the market. And we just got really lucky with timing.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I also really played it safe with that house because I knew I had to appeal to like buyers. So I mean, it was a really fun project. It took like 3 years every weekend.
You had to apply it to the Michael Kors watch.
Yes, I did. And I did do that. And it worked, for that. And I'm happy that I don't have to appeal to the masses now. I get to work for really fun individuals that have individual style. But at the time, it was really good practice. And it gained me a design career. Like I sold that house and we had so many offers. Once again, we just got lucky and sold at this high point in the market. We had like 23 offers on this home. We looked at
tell me about the home. I mean, I've seen pictures, but like for most people that don't know, it seemed like a large house.
It was a huge home. It was like 4,500 square feet on the South Hill. Amazing location. It was a craftsman home. So just millwork everywhere. But unfortunately, none of it was salvaged. I mean, the people that had owned it in previous years, and the reason we got it for so cheap was that it was basically falling down. It was like falling down in the middle. And so we'd walk from one side of the house to the middle. And it was like 5 inches lower in the middle from the exterior walls. It was crazy. And so it was like fun house. You'd like walk down and be like, what the hell's happening?
And when was it built?
1910.
Well, yeah, there you go.
And the foundation was like the basalt rock, kind of questionable. I don't know. So we did just a ton of work. We jacked it up with jacks over years because you have to do it really slowly.
Right.
And so my dad and I did that together and renovated the whole thing together over weekends for like 3.5 years and then sold it. And when we were going through offers.
Read the Room is sponsored by HardwareHut.com. Since 1995, HardwareHut.com has been offering high-quality hardware online to builders, interior designers, project managers, and homeowners just like you.
In the letters from people making offers, they're like, if you don't accept our offer, we'd like you to design the house that we buy. And I was like, what the hell? Like, it was the coolest thing ever because I'd always known that I wasn't going to retire from nursing. I loved that job. I knew it wasn't for me forever.
You knew there was an expiration.
I knew that, yes. And then just going through these letters from people and being like, we are really interested in having you come. If you don't accept us, please design the house that we buy. And it was so validating because I just like, I don't know if I was doing anything of note or, something that was interesting. I was just doing what I liked. And that was the coolest thing ever. So anyway, I was pregnant at the time. Had my daughter, left nursing, and had all these clients. So I had like 7 months of work. I like calculated it out and I was like, I gotta leave. Like if I'm gonna do it, I have to do it now. And COVID was happening. So it was just like the height of chaos in the medical industry. Yeah. And it was the time to go. Yeah. If I was gonna do it, it's gonna be now. And so I did. And
but let's back up a little bit because I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm really good at it. Well, tell me about like, how did you even know how to renovate this house? I mean, I'm assuming your dad was in the industry for a long time.
Yeah. So, well, my dad went to school for construction management.
Okay.
He went to WSU.
Okay.
And so
Cougs.
we're both Cougars.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was a child, I used to go visit his houses. Like he worked for a construction company that worked on new builds, but they were like custom homes, like really beautiful.
In the Palm Springs of Washington.
In the Palm Springs of Washington.
Yes.
And so I have very, very vivid memories of walking through these houses and being like, what the actual fuck? It made such an impression on me and what he did for a living. I thought it was so cool. And also we were always living in some state of construction. Like our house was always like being flipped or we were like getting ready to sell it or, like we were always like making money on this house that we were living in. And so my chores coming home were like, scrape the tile off the floor, learn how to mud this drywall wall. Like, I mean, I truly came
chores.
I mean, they're insane.
Not do your laundry?
No, I just came home and had to do like physical labor.
So is your laundry already done? Or did you have to do that
My mom, sweet angel, did my laundry.
Oh, okay.
I never.
What's her name?
Robin.
Oh, okay. I thought you said her name, Sweet Sweet Angel, and then her name.
Can you imagine? No, that's not my mom's name. But she is a sweet, sweet angel. So that's what we call her. And so she was like this creative, lovely, like domestic goddess where she's like painting all the time. So she was creative.
Love a
and
domestic goddess.
my dad was like this. He could build anything, renovated all these houses, obviously had this huge source, like wealth of construction knowledge. So I grew up just around it, all of it. And we also just worked for everything. I mean, like if we wanted something, we had to make it, you know? And so if we wanted to have, I'm not even joking. I think I built like every piece of furniture that was in my room until I was like 16 years old. Like I just grew up doing that stuff. And so,
how did you like watch This Old House, like Bob Vila's
I did
Saturday?
watch This
I know,
Old
isn't it
House.
great?
Did you?
I did. I did.
Can we have a moment where we like, can we get together and watch This Old House together? Because it still
Zach,
airs. Do you
Zach
know that?
still watches it.
I love that show.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I absolutely geeked out on watching This Old House, and I loved him, and I loved just historic homes. Like I think that's also the big basis of it is I loved historic homes. I was really drawn to like millwork, especially because my dad was really into woodworking. And so anything that had to do with like trim or anything was like our bread and butter.
Yeah.
And so I grew up knowing how to do that.
This is before Pinterest.
Before Pinterest.
This is
before
all
the
of
internet.
So
this
like,
is watching This Old House and putting my goggles on and then being like, I'm going to make that in my room. And like I painted like pink and white stripes on my wall. I mean like.
With like blue tape.
Oh yeah. I mean, my mom was always game. She always let me do whatever I wanted. She let me run the show. We painted murals in our house. I mean, like she really was like this free spirit. She was not rigid. Yeah. And so I had the luck of that. I had the luck of my dad being able to build anything and also not treating me like a girl that couldn't do it. Like he just like would teach me everything. I learned how to use power tools at a young age. And like,
that's amazing.
My first gift, I think I was like 12 when he gave me like my own boogie sander. Like, so I was like sanding furniture and being like, this is the best. This is so fun. And like, that's insane, but I loved it. So anyway, I grew up around these two parents that had this like really cool skill set. And then, you know, transferring into adulthood, got to renovate this house with my dad, which was like my lifelong goal, biggest dream. Renovate a home with my dad.
How do you guys even talk about it? This is while you were working as a nurse and you're just like, hey, this is a great price. Like, let's do this. Or how did that come about?
Yeah, that's funny. I was shopping for a home. I wasn't married at the time, but I had like a spouse, a partner, and a 1-year-old.
You had a spouse, but you weren't married.
A spouse, but I wasn't married.
You had a
baby daddy,
significant other.
A significant other.
Yeah.
And he was along for the ride, and I was looking for a home. I wanted to buy a house, and I found this house, and it was a fucking.
Again, you can't swear on this podcast.
I will stop. It was falling down. It was disgusting. It looked like hoarders lived there. It was mouse poop everywhere. It was so disgusting. And I like walked into it with my 7-month-old baby, and I was like, "This is my dream home. I have to have it."
And so, what did your sig other say at the time?
Oh, he hated every minute of it, as he should have. Honestly, he was like, "We have an infant. This place is unsafe.
Well,
it's
and
falling
he
down."
was in the military too, so I'm just wondering, is he more of like a clean person, or can he see the?
I wouldn't say he's a clean person. He just saw the work. He saw
some people or like in the military, especially like people are like
no. Yeah, there are, but not no. He was, and that's probably a good thing. We probably wouldn't have ever gotten along if he was like that. Yeah, but he did see the problems that were so apparent, and I probably should have seen them too. But what I saw was this like house for $180,000.
What you saw was what you did.
What I saw is what I did. Oh my God, that's so funny that you say that because when you walk into a space, you see exactly what you want it to look like the second you walk into it, don't you? Mm-hmm. Same. Yeah. I just walk into it I'm like, this is exactly what it's going to be. I can see it immediately. This is the layout. That's it. And not everyone can do that.
Well, that's a gift.
It's a gift. And it's a gift to people.
That's why you have to give your gift.
Okay. Well, yeah. I was like, this has got to be my house. I have to have it. And there's no other house on the market like it. It's massive. Our upside is the huge potential of this is unmatchable. And so my dad made me make a list of, we went on a tour.
Tested you.
Yes, he did. He made me work for it. And I was like, I really want to buy this house with you. We've always talked about flipping a home together. This is it. Like, this is the house. And he was like, holy shit, this house is twice as big as ever. It's like, I would like to take on. And he didn't live in Spokane yet. He still lived in the Palm Springs, Washington.
Oh, so that was my next question.
Yeah. So,
because, it does matter. Like, the commute is a lot.
And it was for a little bit. And then they moved here. But before that, he made me work for it. We looked at like maybe 12 houses that day. It was comparison. Like, what's the best investment here? Is it really this house? Are you just emotionally invested in this, or is it like actually the best possible scenario for us? And so, and it ended up being like absolutely the best scenario. I mean, it was so gross, but it was $180,000, and it was a craftsman home on the South Hill. It's 4,500 square feet.
Yeah, that's
Can you
insane.
imagine? I mean, you can't find that now
No,
ever.
no.
And so,
Not anymore.
no. And so all the houses
Not
the same
after
price
COVID.
were half the size. Anyway, so we bought it together, and the end is it. Like, that's it. You know, we just committed to it, and it was.
So how long did it take you?
We didn't really start on. We had to jack it up. So like,
Right,
I
which
remember
took a long time.
took a long time. So we worked on the landscaping, which was we basically just took down some trees and planted grass and did kind of minimal stuff out there. But while the process was ensuing of jacking this house up to be as level as possible.
And by the way, you're talking about literally.
Oh yes, 20-ton jacks. I have photos. They're horrendous. It's just the whole first floor and basement was just full of 20-ton jacks with like temporary beams, and it just looked like a horror film and that was my home for a year and a half while we did that with my baby. Just be like walking my dog outside through this like forest of jacks and posts, and it was really gross. But when we sold it, it was crazy. I don't know. Just like all these funny little.
So how long did it take you from the time that you purchased it to the time that
we bought it in 2000?
Understanding that it was a process to
Yeah.
like do the whole like lifting it up.
Yeah.
Is it like 3 years? Is it 2 years?
We didn't start right away, but we bought it in 2015 for $180,000, and then we sold it in 2021 for $935.
Wow.
Yeah,
How much did you put into it?
probably
Sit down
$350.
to brass tacks.
$350.
Okay, that's
Honestly,
what I like to do here. Oh, okay. So that's great.
but yeah, we still had. I mean, and a lot of that was sweat equity. So like,
Yes.
that's what we paid, but like our labor was so much of that, and that was free. So I mean, that
Well, it
house was
wasn't
a
free.
really expensive renovation, but so worth
How
it.
much did you learn?
1,000 things. I mean, and I managed that whole project by myself. And so my dad, once again, was my partner financially and mentally, and he did so much of the work. But they moved here towards the end of the process, and
So like he was kind of like helping you like from afar.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause
so
it sounds like in really like it sounds
Oh.
like you really started getting going in like 2020.
yeah.
right?
So well,
Yeah.
2017, I got married.
Okay.
And the month after I got back, we bought a dump trailer, and that was like,
That was
green
your
light.
honeymoon.
Yeah. Green light. We're demoing the house. And so we started demoing in 2017. So that's when we really started. So
Okay.
2017 to 2021. So 4 years.
4 years.
Weekend warriors.
Yeah.
Working on it all the time. It was just like this crazy wild endeavor.
Because I think that's important to know. But you went to nursing school. You didn't go to design school, but you're
No.
self-taught.
Yeah. I mean, everything that
Which I think is amazing because a lot of, just so you know, there's a lot of designers who have no idea about construction. And I know you know that, but I think a lot of people, like, just because you went to this amazing school, you have no idea how it works.
I don't know what they teach you in design school because I didn't go, but I do think that there's just the sequencing alone is so complex.
Yeah.
In every single space it's different, and it's just, you know, that's a really on the job training situation. Obviously, you've had so much of that. You are so well versed, but it takes so long to learn that.
Yeah, you just have to go through it.
You have to go through
The
it
only
or
way through
live
is through.
or only live in like houses that are under construction for your entire life. I don't know. But
Then you really understand the pain. Yeah.
I understand the pain. But yeah, it was a really, I don't know. I feel like I went into my design career with that almost being like kind of the first and foremost thing that I had going for me
Mhm.
was that I knew how much it was. I knew how to make it myself. So I knew if it was like feasible on a budget. Like I knew what was expensive and what wasn't.
Going back to what you said earlier, which I think that's important, where you had all these people that said, "Will you do my house?" So like you kind of knew that you had a little bit of like, you know, some runway to be like, I have 7 months or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
have
it's like
some-
I got to leave now.
Yeah.
So then, how did you say to yourself, "How am I going to charge? You know, how am I going to do this?" Like, what did you do? Did you like look at like? Did you Google how to charge as a designer? I mean, like,
I have
what did you
Googled
do?
that probably 100 times.
Well, that's okay.
No,
The internet's a beautiful thing.
it's not. I want you to know if you Google how to charge this interior designer, it's not helpful almost at all. But what
Yes,
I have
that's true.
found is that how I charge is now.
Well, how did you charge? How about that?
Oh God,
Let's
well
go
not
there.
enough for that's for one.
Well, no one does.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
At first, I started with just a flat fee. I didn't mark up anything. I was like so scared of being like, this is the markup on items. I got scared. That's what I did. I just charged a flat fee. It was horrendous. I never made money. My clients were thrilled, of course, because they were like,
what do you mean you charge a flat fee? I mean, give me an example.
I think for like,
what was your like first, second, third, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like it was a bathroom.
One of my first projects was a cabin.
Paint a picture for us.
It was a cabin. It was like one of my biggest clients. Like now the footprint was there.
Okay.
The cabin is existing, but we're renovating it. So we added a loft to it. There's a bedroom. There's like obviously tiny little kitchen. They knew it was going to be a metal roof. They knew like the siding was going to be what it was, but they needed paint colors for the exterior. They needed like a tiny bit of a landscaping idea, which I don't do landscaping design. I don't do that anymore. But interior, like kitchen cabinet planning, like they were like, we have these vintage cabinets that we've sourced from Facebook Marketplace. Oh, God. Can you make this work? Honestly, any designer listening to this is like, ew, no, abort mission.
Well, it's just like not possible.
It's not even an we did it, but I like in hindsight, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So this is the kitchen footprint. Like, tell us where you want things. These are the windows. This is where we think they're going to go. Like, pick the window style, pick the vendor, whatever.
But did you do any of like the actual work? Because you do that.
No, not on this cabin. Okay. So no, I didn't do any of that.
So you did all like specifications.
I was like $6,000 for like the whole design fee. Or like,
and how long did it take you?
Oh my God, never ending. These clients are like dear to my heart. They are like some of my dearest friends to this day. And they had so many opinions and so many like cool vintage finds that they loved that now I'd be like, that's not going to work because I have the ability.
You're being a people pleaser.
I was being a people pleaser in the beginning, and I'm not like that now. But you almost
finding your boundaries.
Yes, and it's really difficult in the beginning, and you just like make really questionable decisions because of it. And I did. So
$6,000. I bet you spent that on gas going out there.
Yes, wrong. And I didn't make any money on that project. Oh my God. And then I didn't mark up anything at all because I was like, what's markup? I'm new. I don't know what that is.
Well, we can talk about that all day long because a lot of people think of that as like they don't like that, but they have no idea.
And I don't care that they don't like it now. No, this big ass tree fell on someone's house and it was my charge nurse. So my charge nurse was like, a tree fell on our home. Would you like to design it? Because we have to have an insurance company like rebuild it. Yeah. Oh my God. Don't ever work with an insurance company. Once again, lesson learned. I'm green designer. Don't know anything. Worst thing ever. They just
you're a green business designer.
Oh, well, business owner and designer. Like, I don't know anything. I'm literally just like in the weeds. I'm just trying to figure it out, trying to design this home for this family. They want to add an addition. Permitting didn't go through, so we had to like totally redesign the whole thing. Anyway, all that time's lost. And I didn't have it in my contract that like, if we approve something and then for some reason you or like the insurance company or like something out of my control causes me extra work, then I get to charge you extra money. So I was like, design this house like 3 times, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just that, once again, learning curve. And so lost money on that project, lost money on the first project, like just, losing money on every project until I finally was like, oh my God, I have to be not nice sometimes and like have a contract that I stick to.
Yeah.
And that is a pivotal moment in I think every business owner's career, not just designers, but especially creatives, to be like, this is my contract. I charge you extra hours when it costs me extra time. That's so huge to reach the point where you're like, oh my God, I can't lose any more money.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. But like, this is what you are choosing a luxury service for and you have to pay me for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. I totally, Gosh, I still have those talks with myself.
I know. Did you what were your first projects? Were they just like a fucking shit show like mine? Because mine were horrid.
Yes, absolutely. I basically did it for free. My first year in business, I took on 75 projects. So I like lived in my car from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And not all of them were big. I mean, they were like a bathroom.
I thought that high was feeling sorry for myself. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did it. Yep.
75?
Yeah, I had 75 projects.
Did you love them all?
No. A lot of them were just like, help me pick out like this, and this. That, when you're starting out,
you're like,
that equals a project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like nowadays, you're like,
that's not actually like a no-go for me. Like I actually don't take projects like that anymore. So sorry.
Well, that's not true because, we have a furniture store now. So I'm like,
that's amazing. I love that you can handle it. I'm like, I don't have the capacity. Go to Erin. I can't handle that.
Well, I don't blame you because that's why I built the infrastructure that because that was my biggest like thing is I felt like, I guess what I would say is I think we had different paths, but we have so much crossover. So when I first started out, I did go to school. I got my master's. A lot of it's theory. A lot of it's really cool to have. I think that it's important, but I also think that like, mostly it's important to really like be on the job and understand what it means to like, you have to do this before that because of X,
Yeah.
and you have to do this next and this next and this next.
Mhm.
And this is where you can cut where you need to, and this is where you can't cut. You
Mhm.
just can't,
You just can't.
And so it's like, but the only way to know that, like, as I was like joking before, the only way through is through,
Yeah.
and just like, you have to make mistakes. I always say that like, it's not a bad thing. Like you have to learn. The only way that I have learned is like, you have to make mistakes. But so I think I went a different path where I was actually working for architecture firms from like starting out. I interned
Yeah,
during. I mean, it's just the path you take, right? It's like
But you picked the right one. Like at least you learned it. I think a lot of
right,
people
but
don't.
I also like, I think like starting building a house would also be an awesome path to take. But what I felt was a lot of these architecture firms that I worked with, we would do these amazing homes, and like it wasn't necessarily like the client's fault because they thought they were paying for an entire interior design package. When in reality, they weren't. They were really paying for like interior architecture, which is super important, of course. Like,
Yeah.
that,
Like
to
the
like
base
the
steps.
lighting and what we do. It's
Mhm.
really we are architects of the inside and the outside sometimes. Yes, we do both. But I think the thing for me that felt really disconnected was a lot of these clients were paying for this full service interior design, but then when it came to like the furniture procurement and like the decor and like the details, they just weren't there. And so what they did was like kind of like we're like, well, I don't know what to do. And they brought in their own things.
Oh,
And to me,
absolutely.
they ruined it. And
They
I'm like,
always ruin it. They always, yes. But they also like are begging for your.
but it wasn't their fault.
No, not
Because
at
they
all.
thought that they were like paying for it.
Yeah.
And where a lot of architecture firms were like,
But also, like, once you get the architecture and that part of the design right and correct and, like, really on point, you would think that you could place kind of anything in there and it would be fine. But, like, that's where their personality shines as clients and their, like, uniqueness as clients, like, really comes through in artwork and selections and decor. And, like, that's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Obviously, the shell is so important, but I don't know.
yes.
Them as individuals is only reflected in like what they put in there. So that's
Well, you try to get a picture and you're like,
I'll make a little video. Yeah, and then leave.
I cannot take a picture over your maroon leather 1998
No.
sofa. It's not going
Oh.
to happen.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah.
I was just like, something clicked in my brain where I was like, okay, everything matters. Like, and I was always taught, like, from a theoretical perspective, like, it's all holistic, everything matters. But, like, I just always felt that it felt so short, or it just, like, felt like we did,
How
like, 65%. And
How
it,
painful for
well,
you.
and that's why I was like, I have to start my own. I have to.
So happy you did.
And I am too. But, I think I went, I just went a different path. Then I worked for Herman Miller, which was a total commercial, like, I basically
Amazing.
did TED Talks all around the West Coast to, like, commercial spaces.
You'd be so good at that though.
About like how important design was and blah blah blah. I know I was good at it, but
I
like
bet you were.
it was very like soulless to me after a while. I was just
Yeah.
like da 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 da.
Because you're not like really working. There's something like really magical about working with a human being
Yes,
that has functional needs
yes,
that are insane, and you're like, what the?
right.
You
but,
need that?
yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
also
make
like
it happen.
but also like like I was just like again I was talking about it. I wasn't actually like doing it
Yeah.
anymore, and that like felt really soulless to me.
But you left it.
Yes, and then I went and worked for an architecture company just because I think sometimes, and I learned this when I was in grad school. I had a lot of designers say to me like, if you ever leave, you can never go back, And I guess I did kind of leave for like a year and a half to go sell it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And so like I felt like I kind of needed to prove to myself like can I still try? And then I did, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes, you still can. And then that's when I was like, I have like you just have to go and start your own. And so, but then I mean it's just a different path, but it's like then you say yes to all the things. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but
You
it's
say
the
yes
worst
to all the
year of your
things.
life. 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is.
So you finally figure it out.
So you're like, oh my God, this is my niche. These are my people. I found what I need to do. I can say no to projects I don't want to do.
Yes.
That's pivotal. When you can be like, that doesn't align with how I want to spend my professional time. And so I'm going to say no. That's huge.
Sorry, that doesn't pay my electrical bill.
Yeah. No, I remember like I listened to some podcasts at some point in time and it was like, what's success to you? Like define what like in 5 years, if you were successful, what does it look like to you? And I was like, if I can say no to people, if I can say no to clients I don't want to do, that feels like successful to me. And that was the only thing I said
Yeah.
in that moment. I was like, yeah, okay. I feel like saying no to people was like my pivotal point of success. Being able to be like, that doesn't align with the way I want to spend my professional time. I don't like the style that they like. I need them to
Or
select
I don't
me,
like you.
or I don't like
Which-
you. Once again, going back to my first career is not common, but it does happen. And so, yeah, for sure. Being able to be like, I don't want to
I
do
don't like
that.
the way you operate.
I don't like, or anything, literally
Yeah.
anything. I don't like anything about this. I don't want to do it.
Hmm.
To be able to say no to that project is such a gift. And to be able to reach that is like, I mean, success. Like
Yeah.
it's success. That is.
To me, success was going to the grocery store and not looking at the prices. But we all have
that too. Like, or just
which
thinking,
nowadays is not a thing anymore.
holy moly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. That was my big, I don't know what marker.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think the question is, because a lot of designers get this, and I know I went through it. It's like, because you can there's no standardization for an interior designer. Like I think
It's
a lot
so
of times
scary.
like realtors take X percentage. Contractors are like cost plus. Subs are like I'm this per hour.
yeah.
It's like there's so many standardizations. Of course, people can, like kind of like do their own a little bit. But for interior designers, there's no like, this is how we do it. And it's even different from architects too, because I think a lot of times architects, they draw it and they're like, have a nice day.
They also just charge per hour. They're like, here's my hourly rate.
Yeah, here's my hourly
like
rate.
it or not.
And sometimes they're flat fee, but a lot of times they're not in the trenches like we are of like we're
The details.
the details of like, oh yeah, you can call me. It's like, but you're not okay. And I'm not saying every architect is like this, because I work with many of them and they're amazing and we're partners. But I feel like sometimes we're in the trenches. We're really trying to like figure this out, especially in like,
Oh, totally.
yes, we know it was drawn this way, but it can't actually execute this way, or it's actually not possible to do this. So like we got to think of like B, C, and D, and like
Yeah.
we got to think of them now.
You also have to like communicate that back and forth with those people 1,000 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the question is like, you started out on flat fee. Did you just think that was a good idea?
Yeah, that was like the best idea ever. I was like, this is so smart. And like clients are going to love it and I'm going to make so much money. And then I just never made any money. So what I ended up transitioning to is a combination. So I just do, and as a GC, there's like several facets of income, I guess, for my company, but it's like my flat fee for design is like, this is the flat fee. It's generally by square footage, which you have to get big enough projects to do a square footage fee. And so by the time you get to that, like, hopefully you have shit figured out, but
Hopefully.
yeah. So, flat fee for square footage. So 50% down design fee. And then I do, how do I describe this? Sorry. So I do a flat fee for the design fee only, 50% down, and that just books it. Like, this is you deciding that you want to use the company. Then we move forward. This is when we'll start your design, whatever. And then we do 25% down once they approve like the concept and layout. So this is your furniture layout. This is your like, to scale situation. This is the furniture
all
pieces that we're shopping for.
construction documents, like
Yeah.
floor plan, finish plan, electrical plan.
I don't even do that until the second stage. The first phase is just like, this is your concept. This is your layout. This is your mood board. Like all the spaces in your home. This is all the mood boards for every single space. This is what they look like together. This is our North Star. This is what we make decisions from.
So is that still a flat fee?
That's still a flat fee.
Okay. And you decide that based on square footage.
Generally. And like if that square footage involves exterior work, then obviously the square footage fee increases or decreases. Like if it's like a pretty low key situation, they already have a lot of stuff figured out, or their house is already renovated and I'm just coming in to do like furniture and decor, that's lower. But it's all based on square footage. And then once it gets to the second design fee, it's like that's where I have to do like 3D renderings. And in my contract, I'm like, it's the kitchen and the primary bathroom, and that's it. Like if you want other 3D like renderings, then you have to specify that. You'll pay extra for it, whatever. So I, my scope of work and my contract is so detailed, it's disgusting. And I do it on planes all the time. I'm always like on airplanes,
I know.
like,
I'm like,
my
this
scope
is
of
where I
work.
do my
Yeah, my
No
scope of
one's
work.
bothering you.
Yeah. And you don't like, I just like don't pay for Wi-Fi. So I'm not distracted and I'm just like typing out scope of work. And so Everything's so important. You have to include it in there. And you have to say, these are the only spaces that you get 3D renderings on. This is it. If you want more, you have to pay more extra. And then, so that's when construction documents, 3D renderings, and then like the start of selections happens. And in that process, since I'm a GC, we're still getting like bids for subs. And so if they have a total budget of like 1 million for this, renovation, then we know the subs are going to cost this much, and like we're going to end up with this much for finishes, and then we can allocate those appropriately. But it's such a moving target, and that's the like crazy part of this whole thing, is that it feels to clients like it should be cut and dry, it should be easy.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, holy moly, you have no concept of like the cost of things. For one, labor's
and
so
how
expensive.
the pots of that money can move from time to time. Like I remember having like back in the day, I would say, do you want me to be in control of the money, or do you want to be in control of the money? And they'd be like, oh, I want you to be. It was fine. It's not like I was taking, a portion unless like talked about, but it was like, okay, we're saying, okay, this much is for painting, this much is for drywall, and sometimes like it would switch a little bit. You know what I mean? And like
it's a fluid process, the entire thing.
And I think a lot of like, I think how I got burned a lot of times where people were like, that's not how much it was. I'm like, we're not. Like we're still like figuring out where that is going to go.
Money's moving around.
Money's moving around
every single day, every second. Yeah. So every trip to Home Depot and Ace Hardware like is putting money in pockets that you don't even think of.
Right.
And so I think that that's another thing for client expectations. Setting client expectations is the hardest thing to do, and it's the most important thing to do. And you don't know that until you lose money on enough projects to be like, oh my God, I need you to understand like the entire process from A to B. Finish to end. There are so many moving parts, and you will never understand how many moving parts there are because you aren't involved.
Right.
But your money's going to move from this pocket to this pocket and back and forth 1,000 times. You're so right. It's impossible to make sense of it to them. And so I think at the end they get their last bill and they're like, I'm getting cheated out. Like why do
you think that clients are so, cause I get this a lot.
So do I. I think I know what you're going to say.
Clients like almost think, it's like not fair.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I probably spent an hour and a half typing out an email to a client who is the dearest human. Like obviously ill intention or anything, but it's like, okay, this is how they were like, I would like to know how much you spent on every single item that you bought for our house. Obviously there's markup and we know that, but like,
would they go into Nordstrom and say, I would like to know how much you spent for every single item in this jewelry department?
I don't know. But like, that's the thing is that like, I just feel like it needs to be a blanket statement that you always get more than you pay for. When you hire a creative person, you always get more than you pay for every single time.
Unless you micromanage them and then you don't.
And then that's so true. Yeah. That's a good point. Like, cause we reach a point.
Some of my micromanagement, I'm like, oh, let's go. Actually, you know what I say? Is I say, you don't even need it.
Yeah.
You can do this yourself.
You know what? I have done that.
Yeah.
And I've been like, you know what? You want to GC this project? You've said several times that you wanted,
like
that you can. Like here's the plans. Here's all my subs that I would use. Like you use it. And you know what? It took like 2 years to finish the project. Like 2 years. And they're like, it's finally done. You want to come see it? And I'm like, these people are the loveliest people. They're like the best humans. But instead of 13 weeks, it took a year and a half or a year or whatever it was. But like, there's a trade-off. I don't know. But like the need to explain your process and how many hours you spend doing this, this, and this. And it's like, when you hire a creative person, I need you to know, blanket statement, you always get more than you pay for, because they are thinking about your project and not charging you at all times.
Well,
all the time.
I think a lot of people care about transparency, which I get.
Yeah.
However, it's so funny because I think that they expect full transparency for someone like us, but they're totally fine without having full transparency from like all these other people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But they don't want to get ripped off by like their designer.
Right. Because we're the devil.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
it's a lot of money. I understand. Like it's resources that are important to them. They want it to be like,
I don't even think it's that much money.
I mean,
maybe I need to charge more, but I'm just like, I feel like we're like 5 to 10% of the total job. And it's like, you're different because you're a GC.
Yeah, sure.
And so I'm not a GC. I learned a long time ago that like that's really not my skill set. And also I think I got so like bogged down of like, them thinking I was ripping them off. I'm just like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
But then you have clients that like, I have a client in Coeur d'Alene. It's a new build.
Yeah.
Her childhood home. She's like we went into demo this house thinking we were going to just add on to it. The foundation is shit. We can't do anything with it. We have to totally rebuild it. We have to take everything down. Her childhood home demolished to the ground. The coolest client. She pays her bills immediately. She never questions anything I do. And you know what I'm going to do for that client is show up for her like 1,000 times more than I will.
People don't get it. Like, if you like let
you
me
trust
be,
me.
you trust me. Like, I will go
Yeah.
over
I need you to know
1,000 miles.
that I will show up for you, and
Yeah.
I will give you everything I can into this project because that means the world to me. And I don't know. It's just like this huge weight lifted off my shoulder. I don't have to explain myself every 5 seconds. I get to just do my job.
It's also like time. It's not even about that we don't want. It's about time. Like,
I get to just do my job. I get to do what I'm good at instead of like explaining how I'm spending my time and how I'm charging things. I'm like, I get to just be creative and for you and like do the best job. It's so cool.
So let's get back to that, because I think that's a difference that I think a lot of designers actually want to do, is to be their own GC. You know, how do you charge that?
Cost plus.
Cost plus. Okay.
You lose money if you don't do it that way. You will always lose money. And one of those reasons is because you are a designer, so you're a creative person. You want them to have the best thing ever. You want to, deliver. And GCs that aren't designers don't give a shit about that. They don't care. They're like, this is what you paid. It came from Home Depot. This is the markup, and this is what you get. And like people like us who are like, we want to give you something incredible that's architecturally interesting. It's something you've never seen before. That doesn't make you money unless you do cost plus.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that takes on that's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of liability for you.
Oh, the exposure is huge.
Yeah.
Financially. Yeah. And so, it's a very scary place sometimes.
Yeah.
To be honest. And so you have to be prepared for that. And, I just like honestly went into GCing without even thinking about that part of it. I was like, I want to do it because I know I can, and I know I can do it really well. I know that I know the sequencing from infanthood, and I can do this better than a lot of people can. And in the respect that I want it to be done, there are a lot of people that want things built cheaply, and
yes,
I can do that better than I can. But that's what I want for my clients, and what they want is like, they're asking for something custom, and I can deliver that and deliver the design intent in a really quality way. And what was the train of thought here? Sorry.
Well, I forget. What was it?
What was the train of thought?
Oh, cost plus. I said, how do you charge?
Oh, you just like, because your subs mean the world to you, and they charge by the hour. You want them to do a good job. Mm-hmm. And so the only way to make money is cost plus. You can't estimate anything. You really cannot. And so if there's like a range of budget, that's once again where it comes in, where you're a designer, you're fluid, you can cut costs here to make this happen. Like this sub for tile for this amazing fireplace cost way too much. We're going to have to cut costs over here in like selecting their like sofa.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're going to make it work in the budget, but it's all fluid. And so that's the beautiful thing of being like all in one, I think, as far as, I don't know. I don't know any other way.
I would want to hire you from all in one, because then it's like, then you have all the things. Like so many times people, get upset because of this, that, and the other. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
I mean, how many hours do you spend a week communicating with general contractors that don't know anything?
30.
Would it be nice to be your own?
Guess what? I don't get paid for that.
And you should though.
I know.
But you don't, because you're creative and you have to like put your foot down and be like, I have to get charged, or I have to charge you for the hours of maintenance. So that's another thing. If I'm not the GC on the project, so that's when the flat fee doesn't occur. So like there's a flat fee for like, this is your concept, your layout, 2-dimensional, overhead, super simple mood board.
What if they're like, I don't like that? Then you keep going.
I redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't had to do that many times. It's happened.
Yeah.
But I definitely like, if someone's like, I hate that, I'm like, oh, you cannot hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I have no ego around this. Like I like it, but you don't have to like it. So, and I for sure want you to like it. So happy to redo anything. But when it comes to other GCs, I charge a hourly project.
Fee.
Yes.
Construction admin fee. Yeah.
And so that you have to.
Yeah.
And I think clients get really scared about that, because they're like, that's an unknown cost, and it's very scary for them.
Well, it's kind of like, how involved do you want me to be?
Well,
because a lot of designers, I will say, and this is what I used to do when I worked for architecture firms. It's like, here's the design. Have a nice day. That's not how you get something built.
No, it's not the right way. No.
If I didn't like babysit and all the things and all the like blood, sweat, and tears, I wouldn't have those amazing photos that everyone's like, oh, you're so talented. You're like, hey, I think that's a part of it.
But you're micromanaging subs
Yes.
as the designer. And it's
Correct.
really not fair because the GC should be doing that. It's
But
like
they don't.
you,
They don't.
as the designer that's not the GC.
Why do you think so many GCs love working with me? Because I do their job.
You are putting in all the hours to
Yeah.
be like, this is the relief setting. This is what we need to set the subfloor at so that this is like level by the time the fireplace hearth is installed. I mean, like, oh my God. The amount of micro decisions that go into every single finish is astounding. And clients don't know that. And they don't need to know that. They'll never know that. But like, they also don't appreciate it. They don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. So I think when you are not the GC, when I'm not the GC, it's almost more frustrating because I already know there's going to be hours lost in the game of communication.
I'm not swinging the hammer. I'm not the one who hired, this, because when we do large projects, it's like we will make our recommendations, but at the end of the day, it's the client's decision.
Yeah. And who
so-
they pick is the implementer of the design intent. And that is
Yeah.
very scary.
But it's like,
Everyone.
yeah, it is scary, but it's also like, just the way the world works, for so many different things. And so, it's just, sometimes our hands are tied where it's just like, it's almost like we're just in deep design therapy.
Yeah, but also like you can only control so much. You can only make that contractor
Yeah.
give so much attention to how like even these floors are going to plane out after the transition happens. I mean, you're only in control so much. You cannot be there when the subfloor is set. You can't. Like that's just not.
Well, and to be fair, I would say that.
But like that's
probably
important.
not,
It gets
it's
down
totally
to that
important.
step. Like
I
that's
understand
how,
it. Yeah.
Like that's how detailed this has to get down to. You're like, these two different floors are meeting in this transition and we have to make sure that they're level. Like, how are we going to do that?
Well,
And,
most
like,
contractors don't even understand it. They
No,
will
they don't
they
give a
will like
shit.
hire out to their floor guys. They're like, oh,
Right.
they'll figure it out.
And hopefully they do.
Hopefully they do.
Hopefully they do. And hopefully
Yeah.
they reach out to you or reach out to me and say, like, how do you want this to play out?
But that's another good, like what you just said right there. They'll reach out. Do you know the amount of hours I spend on a day of reaching out to answer a question?
Oh, yeah. That don't get, first of all, answered. Email, voicemail, phone call, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have to redo it again the next day. I mean, it's countless. I know.
And the
We're
clients
talking,
have
we're talking about flooring.
flooring.
This goes for upholstery. This goes for everything. Literally every detail. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, will be your place for. But I think what I guess my point is, I think it's hard to be a designer this day and age if you're just doing design hours. Don't you
Yeah.
think? Like there's only so many of you. There's only so many hours in the day, so many hours in the week, and people. I would say that clients are only willing to pay so many hours.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to, you have to make an income. You have to make a living in different ways. And so I chose personally to what I know really, really well and what I love is product. And so that's where I chose to like invest myself into like,
And you've done a really good job of that.
well, thank
And that's not something I thrive in. So I'm really glad that you do it well.
you. And I feel the same way about you is like you've decided to go a different route, which is the GM, which I think is amazing. And I mean, it's all a lot of responsibility. It's also
It's
a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of it's a lot of work
It is.
above and beyond just
Being a
a designer.
designer. Yeah.
And so it's just we've just gone different paths, and that's what I feel the same way about you. Which I'm like I just know that's not my calling. It's just not.
To be a GC.
Yes.
I was installing trim today. I was covered in sawdust. And I was like, I have time
I'm-
to shower.
I feel like I've been a GC,
I bet you, yeah, I know.
but I know that it's just not. I know that at the end of the day, it's just not my thing. But that's why I admire you
Thank you.
to do that. I mean, that's a big
Pretty gross. Like I'm pretty gross all
It's
the
not
time.
gross. Actually, I love getting down and dirty and doing stuff because I feel like I've accomplished something.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I'm just on the phone trying to answer, and then
Oh.
you're like, all the hours go by, and you're like, what did I do today? I did a lot.
A lot.
But at least when we were doing trim, you're like, I did that.
I built that.
I
I know
built
tomorrow
that.
I get to install all the trim that I cut today and it's gonna be so satisfying.
So let's get back to like how people can use you, because I think that's really important. So like, who is your ideal client in a perfect world?
Oh God, in a perfect world. Someone who likes vintage and architectural salvage, honestly, like really values that.
Restoration.
Yes. I love to find, and like I go shopping all over the place to find architectural salvage and I ship it home so that like one day I can use this amazing like column or, I love the build part of the design so much that I really thrive in like finding these kind of treasures that are taken out of old homes or commercial spaces or whatever, and then implementing them in houses later. So that's my ideal client is like excited about that. They're excited about vintage shopping. I don't necessarily want them to come with me, but I want them to be like,
No, that costs $1,000 an hour.
no, you don't. No. And like they don't want to come with me either. I'm the most annoying. So
Actually, I think they do want to come with you.
I've never had anyone be like, can I come with you?
What?
No. Nobody come with me though. Like, don't want to listen to this.
I feel like people would want to come with you.
I just send them pictures. Like I go to wherever I'm at and, send them photos and say like, do you like this? It's this much. How do you feel about it? Let's put this in your like living room. Let's put this in your primary bathroom, whatever. And,
Loves you. Yeah.
come home with me.
You can take them.
And my ideal client values that enough that they'll spend money on it. So
you love a client that like will value like vintage
architectural salvage
Okay.
enough to like implement it into their kitchens, their bathrooms. Like it's going to cost you money.
I mean, that's a pretty particular client.
It is. And I feel like I have them. Like that's the cool part is I feel like they do.
Your quality over quantity.
I would like to be, and I would like to be even more, quality, less projects that are more design focused and like really
soulful.
Hone in. Yeah. On like, let's ship this amazing piece home and implement it in the best way possible in your like new home renovation, whatever. And then also clients who have a sense of humor. Need to have that.
Big deal to me.
Yeah. And I feel like I have had that. Like I've had really amazing clients. Obviously select few that haven't, but,
we have to have our bad apples to know how
we have
good
to have
we
bad
have
apples
it
to have
sometimes.
no. Yeah. And I do have, almost all my clients they feel like family to me in the end. Obviously you get ingrained in their daily habits. You're like, my ideal client also has some weird requests. I want some oddities. Oddities, welcome, appreciated, applauded. Like, you want a refrigerator in your bathroom so you can store your skincare? Amen, sister. Like, I'm here to celebrate that.
Yeah. That's an easy fix.
So weird and fun. I love that. And
I don't know. I feel like all these like little kids are into skincare now. I feel like it's very like normal. I mean,
I'm scared for my kids' teenagers.
I grew up on like St. Ives apricot scrub.
I also use St. Ives apricot scrub, and everybody listening to this also did too, because we know you're our audience. They're out there. They also use St. Ives apricot scrub.
And what was oxypads?
Yeah, all of those. I mean, I feel like Sarah Hamilton's face. I don't have Botox on board right now, so avert your gaze. But I feel like she's watching this and having a nightmare that we all use that.
No, she did too. We just know better now. She's very real like that. Yeah. No, we just know better now. We have the knowledge, But getting back to your ideal client, so it's like it's salvage. It's like you love the soulfulness.
My ideal client has just unique needs functionally, and I feel like that's more exciting to me than like someone who's just like, I just want a kitchen. I'm like, but what do you do in the mornings? Like, what's your morning routine? Do you make like 1,000 smoothies? Like,
okay, so what you're saying is,
do it.
You love programming.
I think I just like want somebody who's like, this is my routine. I don't know how to make it more efficient with design. And I'm like,
you want someone who knows what they want.
I do like decisive clients. And I do actually. That's right. No, I do. I'm like, I need you to know yourself. I need you to know your style. I need you to be decisive. If I send you a photo because I'm out shopping, I need you to respond. And I need you to say yes or no. And
okay, there you
like,
go.
Please like tell me that you can do that, because if you're like, I don't know. Then,
so because a lot of people say, I don't know.
And I'm like, well, that's fine. I do know that this is great, but I need you to also say, yeah. And if you say, I don't know, I'm going to make executive decisions for you. And in the end, I'm going to be like, did I make the right executive decisions? But clients that have kind of like unique daily needs, I think are really interesting. And I don't think they come along very often, but don't you agree? Like someone who's like, I have this really weird thing that I need.
That's why I call
like
it
a gym. Yeah. And I need like, I am a content creator and need like this weird lighting setup. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's make that for you. That's wild.
Total. That's why I call it design for people. Because
I love the name of your company. I've always been like,
you.
that is so clever.
Because it's all about the people.
It is about the people.
Yes.
That's the best part about it. And the worst part about it. But like in the end, the best part.
Yes. But that's what design is.
To make it like functional and aesthetic at their budget is
it's
so
hard.
What we do is hard, everyone. I know it sounds like a sexy job, but it's not a sexy job, is it? People are like, oh, you're an interior designer? That sounds so great. That's so great.
I would say
How
it's
stylish.
I would
and
say
I'm like,
it's the
I need you
opposite.
to know that I look like a homeless woman all the time because I want to rip my hair out.
I would say it's the opposite of a sexy job.
It's the opposite of a sexy job.
Yeah.
It's masquerading as a sexy job, but it's the least sexy job you could ever have. You're like in people's daily routines, you're like asking them the most deeply personal questions so that you can give them the best result. And you're like, I'm so sorry that I need to know this about you. But
Well,
like,
that's not even the work. I mean, that's fine and dandy. It's all the admin, and it's all of like the, it's the dealing the things, and then things don't come out right. I mean, you're in construction, so there's so many moving parts, and there's so
yeah.
many people, there's so many personalities, and it's like,
And
it's,
half of them hate the fact that
it's
you're
chaos.
a young woman also. Yeah.
Well, that's
add
true.
that
We
to
could
it.
we could go that we could go all that.
Yeah, go that way
I could
too.
take 3 podcasts.
Honestly, we don't even need to talk about that. That's just like a given.
Yes, 100%. But I've kind of like, I'm just like, okay, I'm so over that, like whatever. But I just think there's so many moving parts. There's so much chaos, that there's bound to be problems. So you're also just a problem solver every day.
You're lighting out, like putting out small fires every single day.
Every day.
The least sexy job of all time. Welcome to the career. Welcome to the career of interior design. All young women and men seeking out a sexy job, avert your attention.
Well, I think you have to be obsessed with it.
Yeah,
Right?
it like has to be your like apps. Like you don't think about anything else.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good segue because, we've been, friends for a while, I think, mostly on social, but that's going to change. But just like talking about like, it's so nice to be able to talk to different designers, I think, just about, like just to reach out and just be like, oh my God, I have to tell you about this because only you can understand. Like if you were to talk to your friends, even a therapist, they don't really know.
No.
They don't really get it, because I think also if you're, I would say this too, if you're a woman, it's really hard to run your own business, no matter who you are. It's
Too
also
empathetic.
It's also even harder as like a woman to run your own business, right? Especially when all your clients are men. Or
A lot of my clients are women.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, I don't know why I attract them, but it's a win for me. Single
Well,
women.
Mine are both, and I love my men too.
You know what I think is cool though is designing for a single person, either way, male or female, because they're not. It's all them. It's their full.
Well, then you don't have to be
uninhibited
a
therapist.
full on therapist.
Yeah. I just feel like when you're designing for a solo person, male or female, it's like their uninhibited self, and they get to make all these crazy decisions just for themselves and be like, I love that piece of artwork. I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. I love it so much. Put it up.
And you're like, I love that for you.
You don't have to approve it with anyone else. That's amazing.
Like, well, let me see.
It's interesting that I end up working for a lot of single people. I know. I don't know why.
I think that's right. But what I was going to say is I know what I love about our friendship over social media. What I love about our cyber friendship is that we can like get into it and like, oh my God, let me talk to you about this person because, and when I say this, I think it's a compliment to you. I think it's a compliment to a lot of designers because we care so much. Like, I think a lot of people think that like, we're just out there for the money, and believe me, I would have not picked this career if it was just about the money.
Not at all.
Okay. And so when I think when something goes south,
Yeah.
it
And
does.
you're generally, pick up the ticket for that. So I do feel a very like heavy sense of investment. I know you do too.
Yes.
And it's hard when
Yes.
you leave a project. I could have ended better.
Yes.
Because I did everything I could.
But I also always put it on myself too. I always say I saw the red flags and I that's on me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I have started being more direct. Like if I see it though, I will in an email, I'll be like, I have noticed this.
That's a
And
good
I
segue.
have-
How do you communicate? Does it depend on the client?
Well, okay.
I love
What
these
a
talks.
heavy topic. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
That could be another 2 hours.
Because obviously for like hourly clients, you're like, every single time you text me, I need you to know that like I should be charging you for that. And half the time I don't.
I don't have any hourly clients.
I am about to not have them. But because that's the problem is that you're like shelving out time all the time. You're like, I cannot keep track.
Well,
and until I'm like, I charge you every time you text me. I love you so much, but I need you to know that I charge you every time you text me a question. Email me. And then they're like, oh shit, I forgot.
But so you don't charge when they email you?
No, because
okay.
I don't normally do hourly clients. And I have a couple kind of like old clients that I adore that I've always done
I don't think hourly's
for.
bad. Just I feel like
I don't
clients,
either, but
I
I
just feel
feel
like
like when
clients don't like it.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say, when you email
I don't
them,
mind it.
When you email them their bill, and I almost always, literally always, I clock in, I clock out all the time. I have a program, I track all my time. It's all noted,
That's
dates
good,
and times.
Some designers don't. They're like, I don't know.
But it took me a second to get there, and it took me until probably 4 months ago I've been doing this for a while, and it took me until 4 months ago to start tracking my time. And wow, was that
An eye opener.
an eye opener for me to be like, you stupid bitch. And so I've started doing that now. And so I emailed this client her invoice, and it's like,
Client's calling you now.
probably.
I love how she has an extra battery pack. That's when you know when you're a designer.
Yeah. Do you not have one of these?
Oh, I just let my
I'm
phone
sending you this, and I saw all the Amazon packages on your board today. I'm gonna send you another one. It's gonna be from me, bitch, and it's for you. You're gonna love it. No, I emailed her bill, and I credited her 6 hours of free time because I was like, dude, your bill's insane because you're insane. Your project is ongoing. It's dragging on. I don't know what to do. Like, but I'm crediting you 6 hours.
But why would you do that?
Because I'm too nice. And I was like, this is,
Designers are people pleasers at the end of the day.
Well, I want them to be happy, and you do too. You want them to be like, I want to refer people. I want you to be happy.
But sometimes you can't make people happy.
Well, it's just the scope creep is real, and that's a real thing that we could do a whole podcast on a scope creep, honestly. But anyway, she was like, "Is that include the like final installation?" I was like, "Nope, this is just the hours from here to here. This is not."
She didn't realize.
She didn't realize, and I'm like, I like look on the details. I credited you 6 hours, girlfriend. I can't do anything else. Like that's all I can do. But this is your bill, and she's the best client. She pays her bills the second she gets them. She does not complain. She's the best human. She just didn't realize like how much time it takes to do things. Didn't realize she was and so, and I was like, when you wanted to be hourly, this is what you signed up for, and it's like a bitch, and you should have just done flat. Like you should have like signed up for the whole package. You know? I don't know. Just listen to your designers when they tell you what's best for you, because they know.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you love the ones who think that they know best? Those are always fun.
I don't like usually keep those clients. I fired the last one.
Well, yeah, I had to learn the hard way.
But it's a hard lesson and to fire your first client is really empowering. Like congratulations to any creative ever that's fired their first client, because it's so empowering for you to be like, this is not aligned with my
values,
life.
Expectations.
Like I don't want to work for you.
Humor, or time of day.
Get out of here. Yeah.
But I feel like for you, they got to be really bad.
Yeah.
Well, at least back then. You know,
no, I think
you get tougher. You get tougher. You get more layers.
I'm tough now, but like
you get more layers.
Still be pretty bad, honestly, for me to be like, this is not going to work.
I think, I'm the same way. I think a lot of people think I'm like, don't care. A lot of people think that I'm like very like, have armor. I think by the way I carry myself, but I'm actually a very sensitive person. And it does take a lot for me to, I really want to please people. Like I really do go the extra mile that I think people don't necessarily think that I would. But yeah, it's hard when you. He doesn't.
He knows. He's like she's sensitive, but it's hard. As in our field, our entire purpose is to make people's lives easier, better, more beautiful. Life better, like their lives better quality. It's easier to like function day to day.
And I think that's the hardest thing is like when people don't think that we're trying to do that we're trying to go against them. We're like,
you're like, my entire brain doesn't function like that.
Right. I don't even have those thoughts.
It's the opposite
of what I'm thinking.
All I'm doing is giving you free time. Like
all I'm doing is try to help you.
Yeah. And like all the time, I'm like not charging you for things all the time because
like
I love you.
I know. Like I don't think about how am I going to make this person's life miserable? You have those thoughts. I don't have those thoughts.
I don't have those thoughts. And so it's hard. And it's hard to like type out an email. It makes me want to kill myself.
Oh, honey. Chat GPT.
But like writing an email being like, this is how much I spent. This is how much the markup is. This is how much you spent. This is how much money I didn't make.
Well, and how many hours do those emails take?
Like 2.5, honestly. Like that's so much money. That's so much time. That's time I could be sleeping. I could be napping. I could be eating olives and drinking wine. But I wasn't because I was typing an email about how I'm not ripping people off, which is just upsetting. How do we get to the point where like designers don't have to do that? What has to happen for like you to, so that's where it comes in. And that's what I've discovered. Epiphany for me.
Okay.
Is that, and
Epiphanies
I've
are good.
seen this 1,000 times, but like client onboarding. Oh my God. After this last experience, I was like, I need to do a client onboarding, like where they sign their contract. The contract is long. It's lengthy. But do they read it? No. Do I need to put all the important facts into an easy to read layperson?
Yeah.
Like pamphlet that's aesthetic that they can flip through. Yes, I do. That's what I need to do.
Here's the hard thing. 2 parts for that. We should have an onboarding weekend workshop craft session.
Let's do that.
That would actually be really fun. But here's another thing. And then I feel like you have to like adjust it
For every client? I'm not doing that. Fuck that. No.
It needs to just
This is your email?
I know.
This is your
it needs to
pamphlet?
be like a general onboarding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard.
It's really hard, but you can be in that onboarding. I think that's my biggest advice too, to like new company. They want to have a design business. They want to set client expectations, because you don't realize when you start a design business, that's the biggest challenge, is setting expectations. It's literally in your power to be like, this is when you pay me. This is why you pay me. This is what happens. This is the sequence of events. And at the end, like, I've started having clients pay me in full before I install. That's it.
In full for what?
In full for like my last design fee bill, and then like any product that they decide they don't want, like I install it and I give them an itemized list.
Yeah.
Like, this is your list of shit.
Yeah.
You don't want something, let me know. You'll get refunded, whatever, that's fine. But like, you pay your install fee before that.
Oh, totally.
I didn't do that until this year. So that's
because you learn.
because people are like, I'm not going to pay that. And I'm like,
Isn't that crazy?
what? Excuse me. And so I've learned.
Why wouldn't they want to pay it?
I don't know. I just like, or they like lag on it. It's like, there's no reason. It's just like they wait because it's like it's just like the last bill and everything's done already. So like I'm like, you have to pay it before I come. Before me and my assistant show up and install everything, you have to pay your install fee. That's your last design fee bill. And then whatever your, product that you get, that you keep or don't keep or whatever, that gets adjusted, but that's separate.
Yeah, that's separate. Mm-hmm.
And so I just, once again, have learned. And now that's going to be in their onboarding pamphlet that they get of like beautifully curated information for them to like understand step 1 to step 10 million of what I'm doing and why they get charged.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's like, and I think it's also too, with that, you need to celebrate like the milestone.
Yeah. That's a nice way to put it. That's cute to be like, let's celebrate the milestones. These are your milestones. This is when you pay me.
But it is true though, because it's like, okay, the concept is done, the footing's done, but it's also hard to do that when you are like, if you were just this is what I say too. Like, sometimes clients can be so needy that you're like, do you want to be my only client? We can have a talk about that. Unfortunately, I can't pay my electrical bill if you're my only client.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you requesting information before I normally give it to people is also annoying. Like, there's a process, and you getting a list of items that are installed in your home unfortunately happens after we install into your home and decide what you keep. And then you get the list of what we leave. But until then, you don't get it because we don't know. We might show up with 10 pieces of artwork and only leave 3.
Now you're talking about install. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother thing than design.
Yeah. But like, that's just like the sequencing that they don't understand. And like, I think that they feel ripped off because they're like, I don't know what's coming in. Like, what's happening? There's like all this elusive action happening behind the scenes. And I'm like, oh my God, you just don't need to know.
And that's where like, you need to like, that's just part about being a business owner. It's like,
hire people.
Yes. And have someone come in and be like, here is the dealio with that, and have a sit down. Because I think sometimes when I've seen it where like I've had sit downs and I've had the whole onboarding thing, and still people are like, what is that portrait? Is it going on my wall? And it's like, yes, this discussion. I'm not going to talk to you.
You approved it. Literally approved it.
No, didn't approve, because the big things they approve, but like I'm talking about the final.
Oh yeah. Same.
The final decor, the final like.
We're like, I shot for this
Rooney.
without you in the room.
Correct. Where it's like, I tell them it is a waste of my time to talk to you about the space because I don't even know.
Yeah.
We're going to play. And I think, well, also you need to kick people out.
Yes. They're never around for install.
It's just when they see it.
Oh my God, what a nightmare.
It's just when they see it.
Yeah. No, but like
when they come back and see it.
When they come back, they're like, I don't really like that. I don't identify with that piece of artwork. And I'm like, well, that's funny because that's the only piece of artwork that was approved on the entire list of artwork that we brought in. But like, we'll get rid of it. Immediately get it out.
Well, hold on. Okay. Yeah, we could have so many discussions on this because I feel like the whole install is a whole thing. But how do you have time to be a whole GC designer? And then the install part, I feel like.
I want you to know that it's the worst thing ever.
We have people for that.
Oh God. Me and my assistant do all the installs and that will, like things will shift. Like,
Yeah.
But for now, like me and Kylie show up and do all the installs. I do all the shopping.
Yeah.
She helps me. She does all my errands. God bless her. And I do all the installs. And as far as like making my construction documents, I do all those too. It's absolutely, I stay up till 3 a.m. all the time. I just started being like, to the clients, being like, I'm not going to hang your curtain rods. Yes. But it's hard to realize that. And it took me a minute to be like, I don't need to be doing these like tiny, insane, menial tasks, like hanging curtain rods. So,
but to that point, I think when you start out, you know, what I say being a hustler. And I mean that in the most, you know, like
admirable
complimentary way.
Yeah.
I sometimes I say that to some older women and they're like, they think of it as like a negative term. I don't. When you start out being, like, you know, so scrappy, so like, yes, you know, I will do that. I will do this. I will do that harder, faster, stronger. I will stay up longer. I will do it better the next time. You know, when you have that like grit, it's like you kind of like carry that throughout, and you have to be able to like preserve that.
Yes. No, you're right.
Sanity.
But also, I can't show up for clients creatively if I'm up hanging curtain rods, which is stupid.
Correct.
You know? And so I just got to the point, and I think everyone reaches that point, and I just got there where I'm like, okay, my time's better spent doing other things, 1,000 other things other than those things. And so, have just started outsourcing and
delegating,
which is a power of mine as a nurse. And so being able to delegate out small tasks like that has saved me in this last year. And I don't know, these, like the upcoming jobs, I feel like also just like having a receiving warehouse, like just simple things like that. I've had things shipped to my home until like just recently. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? I have like packages in my entryway for people.
Oh, I understand.
Like, it's just a thing.
One time my living room was full to the brim, the entire thing.
Yes.
And I was like, this is not going to work.
Yeah. And you reach a point where you're like, okay, I've like maximalized to the point where I can grow and expand. And like, it's happening.
Yes.
And so
sometimes you just like to take, you just like to learn the hard way.
Always am in the category of learning the hardest way possible. So,
but you know what's cool about that is when you learn the hardest way, then you're definitely like, I am not doing that.
Not doing that again.
I am not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, like,
instead of like, oh, I shouldn't do that. You're like, that's a hard no.
Yeah.
That's a powerful thing.
It is a powerful thing. And also like the legal process of owning a company, like leaning into the legal process of you have a contract and you need to lean into the legality of that early on. And to learn that lesson early on is important because it will only make you like, I mean, it's so important to have a lawyer, a legal team, and just like to lean into that process and learn it and be like, this is my contract. This is what I have delivered. This is what I promise you. This is what I do not promise you is really important and powerful to know also. And I think as a female business owner, we just overlook that because we're like, everything's flowers and happiness and it's great until it's not. And then you're like, oh my God, thank God I have a contract. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And totally. I think a lot of new business owners would overlook that. And I would heavily implore them to like lean into the legality of their business.
All of you,
my whole heart,
the whole experience, the whole GC experience. That's amazing. And we're going to have you back.
Yeah. Thank you. I adore you and Matt and
cheersies. But we're going to go get some more of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This little guy.
And talk about things we can't talk about on the podcast right now. Read the Room is brought to you by Design for the People, a full-service design studio and furniture boutique. To learn more, visit www.designfortheppl.com.